And welcome back, guys, to the 5th episode of Study Sundays. In case you are watching this for the first time, in Study Sundays, we are mostly having a look at studies, as the name already suggests, even though that was not the whole idea of Study Sundays. The whole idea of it was we can study basically anything. So if you guys want to see anything else apart from Endgame Studies, then let me know, and I'll be happy to cover that in the following episodes. For today, we are continuing with the theme of studies for now. And I picked out a study by an Austrian composer, Günter Amann, who is in fact my favorite composer as to this date. I've already published a study by him some time ago. I will link it with an info card now for you to check out, which was or still is my favorite study to this day. And it's beautiful that we do have this very nice composer from Austria who puts together some pretty nice pieces. I was in fact in personal contact with him. The funny thing was he reached out to me because he saw that video or maybe a post which I did on Twitter, and he was happy that I liked the study, and then we had some brief exchanges, and he was even nice enough to send me his own personal study database. So this is one of the studies which I've got from there. I hope that it is also okay for him that I published this, even though the study has already been published somewhere else. I think it even won an international prize. Anyway, enough talking. It is here white to move, and white doesn't need to win here, but to save a draw. I've already showed this also to the Austrian young players while I was coaching them, and they were able to find the solution after some time. The whole point of the study is going to be very nice. So white is down some material here, a full piece. We're going through the solution now. In case you are still wanting to solve it by yourself, then stop the video now. The first move for white is Queen F3, which attacks the knight on F2, and also threatens Bishop F4, winning the queen with a check. Apart from that, it's difficult to look at other moves, I guess, because like taking on F2, for example, Queen H1, black can just go King G5 and then is going to win. There is no perpetual. I guess Queen D5, for example, King to H4, not to run into King takes G4, Queen E4, which could be a draw now after Queen takes G6. Queen G5 again, Queen E4 back. But after King H4, then it should just be over. So I think the first move is still somewhat logical. King F7 could maybe also be mentioned here to threaten checkmate on G6. That would be another logical move, but then there's Queen to A2. Also Queen C2 perhaps works, just defending the pawn on G6. But Queen on A2 with the check, and black should win with white's king being also quite weak. I don't know, for example, King F8, maybe King H7 even, followed by Queen G8 on the next move. Or something slow, like going back with the knight somewhere. Anyway, Queen F3 is the first move, which is also quite forcing, because now what does black do? The knight is hanging, and also Bishop F4 is threatened. The knight also cannot go to D3 here, because then there's Queen to H1, and then Queen to H4 checkmate. So black's next reply is Queen E1. That's the best try for black here. King has to go to F7. And now Bishop takes C5 is what black should do, because otherwise, first of all, F2 is hanging, and there's also now a threat of, for example, Queen F4 check with a double attack. Sometimes the bishop with B4 could be hanging, let's say, the queen moves somewhere else, just as a general idea. So bishop takes C5, and now the whole point of the study. Why can white go for that? Because F2 now is protected, and Queen F4 now doesn't do anything, because black can go for G5, and the queen has to go somewhere else, and then Queen E7, for example, could be coming. G5 is the whole point now for white. The king cannot take the pawn, because then Queen to F4 check, Queen H4 is checkmate. So black has to go back King H7. Now, to go for G5 and has one specific idea in mind, because otherwise, again, Queen E7 is a threat. Now you need to have a concrete follow-up. Taking on F2, for example, is not any good. Black can just take here or give an immediate checkmate on E7. So now the whole beautiful point of the study, Queen to H5 check. Black has to take G6, and now we see that there are some stalemate patterns at play. The king cannot go to H6, then white would even win on the next move. Bishop F4 is mate. So king h8 needs to be played, and now still white has this bishop on the board, so he needs to get rid of that. Bishop e5. And now there's a checkmate threat on g7. If black takes the bishop, it's a stalemate. And if black tries to prevent the mate on g7 by, for example, going bishop f8, then white can take again, and this is the end of the study with a stalemate. So this is probably my second favorite now after Amann's previous study, which I still remember to this day being super nice to solve or to go through. Again, I will link it in the description down below or as an info card. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Study Sundays. Shout out again to Günter Amann, who is a great composer, and yeah, really enjoy his studies, and I can recommend you to check out some of them too. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see you soon.